not the beast! I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire!
Put the bunny back in the box.
Can't explain all the feelings that you're making me feel. I gave you a thumbs up, then you put me through this hell. Watching you, listening to me. Watching you, God, you're listening to me. I believe in Nicolas Cage. Just listen to last week's app. There's a chance he can act real well, but most of the time he can't. I believe in Nicolas Cage.
No, we don't need that. We don't need any of that.
Welcome to We Gauge Cage, the podcast where we watch every Nicolas Cage movie ever made, from worst to best, according to your IMDb ratings.
It's all you, baby.
Effort. What the fuck are you doing?
Derailing.
Can I get through this intro?
Oop.
In an effort to determine whether or not he is a good actor. Because, frankly, my dear, neither of us are familiar enough with his work.
Not enough.
I'm your host, Brian Ambrosius, and with me as always, I'm fucking tired of this bullshit winter to my, said every Minnesotan this year, Brock Kircher.
Hello.
Boys are back in town. The boys are back in town.
The boys are back. Just the boys. No girls allowed.
How much singing can I do? Should I do it all by singing?
You guys, the reason why it is so off the rails so early is because we have to bring the hype train to you. We have to get up for this week's episode because this movie was a rotten stinker.
The reason I have to bring the hype train is because I have all this pent-up energy because we were supposed to record this cocksucker 3 days ago and 2 hours ago, and I got all this shit going on in my head, and you just refuse to watch it.
Don't air dirty laundry, okay?
Some things are meant to stay in the closet.
Some things are meant to stay. Pandora can only come out the box. She can't go back in.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
You guys, this week, well, technically last night, which counts, we watched Nicolas Cage's 1989 film, Time to Kill.
Air quotes, Time to Kill, yeah.
A.K.A. Tiempo di Uccidere.
Because this was actually released strictly in Italy, and apparently there's not a lot of English versions out there, so...
Not a lot. Not enough. But we found one.
This movie is rated 5.2 on IMDb. Actually, it's a 5.3 now.
Ooh la la.
It might not be after our ratings.
Okay. But before that, how was your weekend, Brian? How was your snowed-in little weekend?
Man, I had to pull out my snowblower.
Should we do a weather
twice.
check? Let's do a weather check.
I had to pull out my snowblower twice, man.
Yeah?
It's bullshit.
How many inches? How many inches we talking, bud?
Well, soft or hard?
I mean, let's go limp to dimp.
No, we got like... we might have gotten 10 inches.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Happy April.
What about, just so you know, I did cut our weather talk in a previous episode because there was some other boring shit around it, so you had it in the description that we had a weather update, and we didn't, so maybe we should get a weather update in Arizona.
Well, let me tell you what the weather was like in Arizona. I went to a pool party this weekend. It was a gorgeous 80 degrees. I believe it might have gotten up to about 85. And, however, there was a little bit of cloud cover. I'll be honest.
Oh,
it hit about, like, I don't know, like 4 4:30 p.m. and it started getting a little cloudy. The pool got a little chilly. I had to hop out and put a shirt back on.
Yeah, I saw your Snapchat. Thank
running
you for
this.
that.
I'm running this new body all around, and I had to cover it up. This majestical body, and put a shirt because it got a little chilly. Get a tidbit nipply out there.
Speaking of like Snapchat, Instagram, all that shit, I posted
The Soch mead.
The Soch. Yeah, the
As you will.
Soch. I posted a while ago a handful of M&Ms, and one of my hashtags was raw dog, hashtag raw dog, and I put in parentheses like, good luck looking that one up. Guess what the hashtag raw dog pulls up?
Cute puppies. Puppies
Puppies
make me
who
happy?
eat meat. Puppies who are fed off of a wet diet or
Really?
something like that. Yeah, there were only a couple of sex jokes in there.
I mean, so the internet's really sleeping on that raw dog hashtag. Get on it, people.
Maybe I should have done the DAWG rather than the DOG.
The D
Like
A
Snoop Dogg eat dog.
oh, screw dog eat dog.
I don't know that song actually.
You don't, clearly, because
No.
I remember the blank look that you gave me while I was singing it. Yeah. So
I just want to make sure that I gotta get that chewing on, Mike.
yeah.
What you got now? You got some string cheese?
I got some string cheese and I'm eating it like a fucking human being. See this? It's called a string. That's how you eat string cheese.
Hey, you know what else I found out recently?
What's that, Brian?
Did you know who is Nicolas Cage's famous uncle?
Francis Ford Copes.
Frankie Copes, right? Mm-hmm. Did you know in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s, he went into money trouble, and that's the only reason that he made Godfather 3. He said the series was done after 2, and the only reason he made 3 was because he was broke. Why did Nick Cage not learn from this man?
Can I tell you something?
What?
I've never seen the Godfather movies.
I watched, I don't remember if I watched 1 and 2. This is kind of the same vein as watching Star Wars. I know it's supposed to be the greatest films ever, so I watched them, and they're just not for me, man. I'm
Come
not
at
a
it,
gangster
nerds.
guy.
Come at him,
I'm not a
nerds.
I'm not a gangster movie guy.
Yeah. Why watch The Godfather when you can watch Lucky Number 11, bitches?
Or Wonder Woman.
Exactly. Or Wonder Woman. 10 times over on every single flight.
Yeah, I do watch it on every flight. It's a good-ass movie.
It's a good plane movie.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to bring up a point, do a little housekeeping.
Let's hear it.
On previous episodes, you asked, well, like Army of One, I believe, you asked what was something that I didn't learn until much too late in life. And
Yeah.
I couldn't come up with a very specific example for myself. But I did remember another one from old Brian.
Oh, are you talking about goats?
Bry Guy, the guy's guy. And your goats versus sheep.
Yeah.
So, Bry Guy, the guy's guy, and I went to
Wow, good one there.
Yeah, right. Went to a farmer's market when we were living together, and we were, since it was in Wisconsin, we were purveyors of cheese, fine cheeses, and fancy flours.
12 years,
And,
cheddars, cheese bread, spicy
yeah.
cheese bread. You get that
Ooh,
fried cheese.
baby.
Ooh, baby.
Squeaky curds, baby!
Oh, yeah, I love them. Squeak, squeak, squeak.
They got to squeak. So, Brian stumbled upon some goat cheese and had the question, how, Brock, maybe this is just me being like naive, but how do they make goat cheese? And I said, I mean, the same way they make cow cheese. And he was like, but how does it come from a goat? And I was like, what do you mean? They milk them. He's like, from where? Like, I get how they could get, like, sheep cheese, but I don't understand how they could get goat cheese. And I kind of looked at him for a second, and I was like, Brian, the women goats. And he's like, they don't have women goats, but, like, no, like, female sheep and male goats, right?
Yeah,
And
I thought
and
the
said-
goats were the men, and I thought the sheep were the women.
And I said, Brian, you do know that they're not the same species of animal, right? And up until that point, when Brian was probably 24 or 25 years old, He was completely unaware that goats and sheep were different animal. He thought that the goat was the man and the sheep was the female.
Because
of the
goats
same
have
species.
horns and sheep don't. And in my head, I was thinking of like a bull and a cow. Bulls and cows are the same species, but we call one a bull and one a cow. Same damn thing.
they're both-
Goats and sheep. Although it's not the same damn thing.
They're both cows.
Yeah, they're both cows.
Yeah.
You know what, Brock?
Did you think
Yeah,
the same
it
thing with,
happens.
like ducks and geese, though?
No.
Okay.
No, come on. I'm not stupid.
All right. Yeah, you're not ignorant. That's ignorant.
You know what else I had to look up?
You're ignorant.
I had to look up how to, once I was growing out my beard a little bit there early this winter, I actually had to watch videos on how to trim a beard because I don't know.
Yeah.
How do you know how to
that's
trim a beard if you
understandable.
never had a beard?
Yeah.
I also had to look up how to change a headlight in my truck on YouTube. I looked up how to change a toilet on YouTube, how to change out a
Yeah.
sink on YouTube.
But these
You
are
can do a
like-
lot with YouTube.
These are life skills. I wouldn't.
You can watch movies on YouTube. Maybe.
I'm just saying, I've never watched a movie on YouTube. I just want that to stand on the record. Never watched an illegal movie on YouTube. Want that to stand on the record. No, life skills are different. You can learn life skills later in life. That's fine. But like,
Why don't they teach us this shit in school, though?
why don't they teach you farmyard animals in school?
Why don't they teach me how to do taxes in school? Why don't they teach me how basic home maintenance in school?
One of life's greatest questions. They do.
Yeah.
It's called home ec. You just didn't take it. Shop.
home ec, I made a duffel bag. In
That's
shop,
cool.
I made a clock. I didn't learn how, like, to, if you have an electrical problem, how to fix it, or like if you have a plumbing issue, is there some stuff you can do? You know,
Actually
I didn't
did.
even know I didn't know what a U joint was on a sink until mine started leaking here, and then my mom's husband Todd, the other Todd, had to like show me what it was.
Shout out the other Todd.
Dude, what are you eating now?
Peanuts.
Peanuts? Are you chewing them though? What are you doing?
I'm chewing some peanuts, baby.
You know what's crazy about peanuts?
Dude, I'm very hungry. I'm sorry. It's dinner time by me.
You know what's crazy about peanuts?
What's up?
They turn into peanut butter in your mouth.
No. Not the way I eat them.
So you do raw dog them. Mm-hmm. No, you're chewing them. We can get that nice and loud in the mic.
I mean,
Why don't you start picking out louder foods to chew on the mic?
I almost got a bag of chips.
Jesus Christ.
Just for you, homeboy.
Baby.
All right, have we fucked around for enough? Do you want to
No.
get into this stupid movie?
Yeah, I suppose.
Is there anything else that you wanted to talk to me about? Did you want to
No.
stage any sort of
I
intervention?
feel like I took way too many notes on this movie, so I told you that you can take the lead because I don't know how I have so many notes. I watched this on Saturday. It is now Tuesday, and yeah, you go
I
ahead.
watched this on a lovely
Oh,
Monday
hey,
night.
no, what are you doing?
My wife was
before
out
we
of town.
before
Oh.
we begin?
Before we start into our launch into our movie review, what did Nick teach you this week?
I'm also gonna find the drop. The more you know. You want me to go first? I went
Yeah.
first last time. All right, I'll go first this time. Now, please, listeners of We Gauge Cage, Northern Hemisphere listeners of We Gauge Cage, remember, this is what Nick Cage wants me to learn. This is not my thoughts. I would never think this in a
I think
million
I know where
years.
this is going.
This is merely what I gathered from this film from Nick Cage. And that is that love looks an awful lot like rape. Yeah.
All right. Okay. I'll accept that.
You're damn
guess-
right you'll accept it.
I'll accept that as an answer from you.
What do you mean? What do you mean this is an answer from me?
I will accept that as an answer from you. Is what I said.
Are you going to tell me when we get to that scene that you don't think it looks like rape?
I didn't think it looked like love.
Yeah, right? But the way he talks, we'll get to it, man. We'll get to it.
Gosh, I hope so. I will tell you that I learned. See, this is where it gets a little tricky. Spoiler alert: we don't get a lot of talking from Nick.
Yeah, we do.
Not enough. He didn't launch into any like long-winded rants in which he taught me something in this particular film. But I did learn something from a companion of his. And what I learned from that companion was, again, this does not reflect my personal views, but I believe the lesson that they wanted to take away from this film was stick no dick in white turban.
Nice. Yep.
And that is what I
Absolutely.
learned.
Absolutely.
So, let's get into it.
Because I did not know that before this film.
Nor did I.
White turban, red turban, green turban. I didn't know. Don't stick no dick in the white
Stick
turban.
no
though.
dick in white turban.
It's not as racist as it sounds.
It's sort of as racist as it sounds, but it's not like as
it's more-
racist as it
it's-
sounds.
It's more diseasist.
Sure.
right,
We'll
let's
get
do
to
this.
it. Okay.
Let's do this. What's
All
our
right.
Nick trope? Oh wait, do you have any backstory? There's not a lot of backstory
Okay.
for this movie.
I'm gonna
except-
explain the plot of this movie. Give me like 10 seconds to explain the full plot of this movie.
Oh Jesus Christ!
So-
Your 10 seconds will be like 4 minutes.
So, when we first start, shoo, shoo, shoo. My God, this was the most boring movie I think we've watched to date. I struggled.
The
through this
only
one.
backstory I have on this movie is just that, like I said earlier, it's made by an Italian director.
Yeah.
And
I didn't really catch his
apparently,
name.
Yeah, apparently it was released in Italian.
Yeah.
So like I said, we found one copy pretty much of an English dubbed version of it so that we didn't have to watch subtitles. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's my backstory on it.
Okay, guys, there's another film out there called A Time to Kill. This is
Is that
not
like Harrison Ford or
that-
something?
Yeah. This is not that movie. That was from 1996. It stars Matthew McConaughey, Sam Jackson, Kevin Spacey, Bullock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like a better
So-
movie than this.
Yeah.
No, who's the second build on this movie? What's his name? Ricky something?
Ricky Tagnazzi.
Who the fuck is that?
Exactly. They're actually the one actor who played the like major was Giancarlo Giannini, and I did actually recognize him. He's from like the latest James Bond movies, the true James Bond, and I'm talking about Daniel Craig, of course.
I like Johannes.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get
And-
to Nick Tro.
Okay. Our Nick
He's
Tro.
packing a bag.
He wakes up. He is a soldier in the Italian army, and he wakes up and he's got a toothache.
Toothache's
And-
killing me. Taking the first truck to Aberdeen's.
Yep. And he packs
something.
a bag and he storms out. Because a lot of
Here-
what Nick does in this movie is just like goes walking off whenever he feels like it.
Here
Which-
is what
okay.
I'm noticing about older Nick Cage movies. This one, Firebird, not so much Deadfall because that was weird, but he talks different in older movies than he does now. It's like he's got like this cool guy like vibe to him, and he's just like, I can't even remember. It was like,
I feel like he
how's-
sounds like people always say Keanu sounds.
kind of, yeah. He sounds like a bad actor.
It's like very stilted and robotic and Californian.
Yes, Californian. There you go.
Pretty much. Yeah, it is like a 1980s, 1990s Californian actor. I mean,
Yeah.
that is the Nicolas Cage. But I don't know if it's Keanu who branded it or if it's necessarily Nick Cage who branded it, because I think that is like there's a reason why that's such a cliche, and I think Nick did it. Nick.
Yeah, I think all Californians do it. That's the whole joke on SNL.
Yeah.
The Californians.
Okay. So, we got Silvestri, and then we got his buddy,
That's
Lieutenant
Nick Cage.
Mario. Yeah,
Nick Cage is
Silvestri
Lieutenant Silvestri. Lieutenant
Cage.
Silvestri.
He's a lieutenant. Then
Mario is like an architect or something?
yeah, but he was an architect, and he's just underneath Nick Cage in rank. And
We're
his
not
name
all
is,
ready to Mario, though.
Yeah, he's given a voiceover right away.
Oh, well, he's giving the voiceover. Yeah, because he says something like, I wish I would have stopped him on that day or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
I guess. I don't know.
What really bad happened because Nick Cage left that day?
We'll get to it, I guess. So
Is it with the girl? Like, he acted like they were in love.
Yeah, look, shit went down in the AM and the PM. Nick hops in a truck, and he's with this chatty driver, whose name literally is like Chatty Driver.
Who, like, will not keep his eyes on the road. And that's one thing I noticed. He's just looking at Nick.
Stares at
it's like
Nick
a freaking
the whole time.
It's like a Seinfeld episode or something where he's just like moving his hands, but he's just staring at Nick the whole time.
So Nick at one point yells like, "Watch out!" And
Watch it!
it looks like he has 20 or 30 feet to stop.
Oh,
and he
plenty.
instead like punches it into this hill and crashes the truck.
Nick Cage was not talking to this guy hardly at all. He was giving like 2-3 word answers, and this chatty Cathy would not shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
So that finally, Nick Cage decides, like, I'm going to walk, whatever.
Yeah.
And when help shows up by this driver, the driver starts telling the lieutenant, like, he kept growing in my ear. I got distracted. And I was like, this guy's a fucking liar.
Yeah, this driver's such a card. So essentially, Mario and like the rest of the troop come up upon the driver of the truck. The driver's all alone. He says, "I don't know. Nick just walked off," and he did, and he's lost. And like they get to the back to the base,
The construction site.
Well, they get to the base.
Oh, no, he's trying to
so-
walk to a construction site.
Yes. But Mario is at the base, and so Mario's like waiting for Nick to return, which he
said
does
it should only take 2 hours.
essentially like a couple days or a day or so later. Nick shows
But it should
back
only take
up,
2 hours, yeah.
and then we're treated to our flashback.
Oh, yeah, and like the whole middle third of this movie is a flashback.
Yes, and this is Nick essentially telling Mario what happened after he left the truck.
Well, before we get into the flashback, is that with the dentist?
Well, I think the dentist happens first.
Yeah, and we get a lot of taco meat. We're going to have taco
get
meat throughout this
taco meat.
movie, but even when he
get
sits down in the dentist chair, that chest
some
hair is fluffing
yelling.
through.
We get some screaming, a really good scream, a really good scraping at the door scream.
Yeah,
as
because Nick
he
Cage goes like,
yanks his
is
tooth.
it...
You guys, he does have a toothache this whole time.
Which he lets us know by rubbing his jaw several times.
Yeah.
But he's like, is it going to hurt? And the dentist just goes, I wouldn't want to be in your shoes. And the dude just takes a pliers without giving Nick like any alcohol, Novocaine, something to bite on,
nothing.
and just rips it out. We don't see it. It's implied to infer or some whatever.
Hurt? Is it going to hurt? I mean,
I wouldn't want to
it's
be in your shoes.
4 different it's 4 different sentences to ask that. So that's where the Keanu level.
Oh, and it gets to a flashback because he asks Mario, like, how long can a person live with a bullet in their gut? That's kind of how it starts getting to the flashback.
Yeah, after he gets his tooth pulled. And he's got his hand, like, bandaged up. Okay. So, we are flashback to the wreck. So, after the wreck, driver gets out, Nick gets out. His hair is askew in
Brock,
one shot. And then his hair is
I take-
magically fixed in the next.
Right? I take such care to try to get good audio, which last episode sucked. I'm sorry, all right? I had Amanda Flannery Hopa with
and now
me.
Finn Rider's here?
Can you hear them?
No. Are they... I can
They're
kind of
like
hear...
running around like crazy. They're
Scrambling
finally
around.
friends. Ranger hated Finn for the first week that we had him. Now they're best buds and they won't shut the hell up so that I can record a
We
podcast.
could have filled 20 minutes just with this kind of talk. But
Yeah,
they're
no,
good.
I'm done. That's all I want.
Good
That's all I
now?
wanted to say.
Good job. Puppies make
Just
us
if you
happy.
hear footsteps pattering right now, it's my dogs. I
If you hear
apologize.
a bunch of running around, it's just Leah. She just does
Guys,
that.
we're real people.
It's
I am
just you're
sitting in my
beautiful.
basement
Loving.
with blankets around me to try to reduce the echo.
Magnificent.
We are.
Shiny? I don't know. I'm running out of
wife?
adjectives to describe my wife.
My wife is shiny?
Oh, I just looked at my notes, though, and the next word I looked at was naked and taco. So, sorry. Anyway, his hair is askew, and then it magically becomes fixed. And he tells Mario, I downed a couple of pills and headed to the highway. And I was like,
Oh,
yeah,
Brock!
you did.
There are so many times where it's just like, oh, are we going to get it?
Yeah.
And this is the first one.
I
You
mean-
see him take the pill out.
I didn't see any canteen around.
Yes, you did.
I know. But I didn't see it in his hand.
And then he sucked it down with water. Sadly.
Anyway, okay. So, yeah, he goes to a construction site, which is a couple hours away, and he finds a student who gives him a shortcut through a valley and says, like, hey, if you go here, you're going to get to the base. You follow a river, you get to a lake, and once you hit the lake, you'll see the base, I guess.
Yeah, and Nick Cage had a real weird vibe about this guy, which
Yeah.
I didn't understand.
And the guy just says,
seemed like a normal dude.
good luck, and then smiles, and then, like, keeps looking at him and smiling. And
Yeah,
it's
I
just
thought he
like,
was fine.
All right, fair enough. So Nick's walking. He passes a dead horse that's all gutted up, and I think there are supposed to be like rebels or like natives running around, like potentially killing people. So it is a little
Right.
dangerous.
I think that's the whole thing. That's why the like dramatic music came in with that construction worker.
Oh.
Because yeah, it's supposed to be supposedly dangerous.
Yeah. Speaking of music, this has Ennio Morricone, who is like a famous composer. So I did actually like the music of it. I'll see what else he's done.
While Nick Cage is walking, he comes across a chameleon. And Nick Cage is smoking a cigarette. It's down maybe 2/3 of the way. So a third of the cigarette is left.
Yeah.
Nick Cage takes the cigarette out, pops it in the chameleon's mouth, and the chameleon walks off smoking a cigarette.
Yep. And
Yes.
Nick loves it. It really reminded me of the
and I
scene.
think that was a real chameleon.
Sure. Yeah. It
And a real
probably is
cigarette.
super real. It's cruelty.
Yeah.
So this is our second cruelty to animals film. To quote our friend,
Dude,
good
that
friend,
should be-
friend of the podcast, Tracy Morgan, I'm pretty sure that's cruelty to animals. I'm okay with it though.
I'm gonna get you pregnant.
I'll get you pregnant.
What is that from?
He's just like a line that he says like constantly. So in order to try to get into character as Tracy Morgan,
I'm gonna get you pregnant.
he's always like, "Oh, you're gonna get pregnant."
Nick Cage is about to get pregnant here
You're
shortly.
Get pregnant.
Okay, and also, so right after the chameleon, and this happens a couple times in this movie, Nick Cage is walking down some rocks and just like comically stumbles over them, like, whoa, whoa.
He falls a lot.
It's just like, yeah, and it's very like Three Stooges like though, like it's
Yeah.
very comical.
He's never
right.
gets like super hurt from it. He just loves to do it. So Ennio Morricone is like a director who always works on like Tarantino films, Hateful Eight, Untouchables, stuff like that.
So
Anyway,
guys, we get to the titular Time to Kill.
I guess.
He comes across a watering hole with like a waterfall, and there's a naked African lady
yeah, it's a beautiful waterfall.
bathing in there. And
Beautiful naked African lady.
Nick Cage is acting really weird about this, like giving her googly eyes. He starts undressing a little bit.
Yeah. Well, first he's like sitting by a rock, 10 feet away from her, and he like yells.
He
like,
bites his thumb.
He yells like, "Hello!" And then he's just like waves like, "Hi!" It's just like, Nick, come on.
And he like bites his thumb. You know, like when there's a hot girl and the guy like bites his thumb or
Yeah.
his knuckles is like, ooh, like he pretty much does that. So he like tosses her soap too.
Yeah. Which she's stoked about. She loves the soap. And
As she comes out,
Yeah.
she comes up by Nick Cage and he starts to caress her shoulders and like her face a little bit.
yeah. But he's asking her questions as well. Like he wants to find camp. He's like, "Do you know where the camp is?" Camp.
Well, he keeps saying the town or the river or
Yeah.
something.
And the lake.
All right. So I have a kind of a long note here. I'm just going to read through it. I don't remember what it says,
Then
but
they
it
go to a
says,
field.
it says, she gets dressed, he walks up, checks to see if anyone's around, and undresses her.
In a
She's
field.
shaking her head no, trying to get away as he touches her all over and rapes her.
Lays her down.
I also
spreads her
noticed,
legs, and rapes her.
yeah, very intense. You get a shot like
Yeah.
from her belly down to her
Yeah.
vagine and like her legs spreading, and it's very intense. I also noticed here, Brock, the wedding ring. I noticed he was married, and I
Yep.
was like, oh,
I noticed.
interesting.
As well. Plus, he kept having a picture of, like, a woman.
So, guys, here's the rape scene. Like, it felt like rape. It looked like rape. However, immediately after that scene,
It was rape.
they're dressed. Brock, then they're dressed, and she likes him.
Well, yeah, but at the time, it was rape. So,
But
we are
immediately
not
after
qualified to, like...
they're trying to normalize it. They're like, oh no, look it, they're in love. Because
Yeah.
then he even says something about like, I don't know what he was trying to do next, where he's like trying to pay her or something.
Yeah, okay, so...
Why is he
tries to pay
paying her?
He offers her sardines. He offers her money. She doesn't want them. She doesn't want the sardines. And he's like, yeah, maybe these are pretty bad. By the way, check off your abuse of women trope.
Yeah.
And then he
And we
gives
got
her
abuse
like
of
a
kids
Bible,
later, too.
to which we get treated to Bible. It's a Bible. Like, okay, man, she obviously doesn't speak fucking English, but good job. And she does like the Bible. She pages through it or whatever and is kind of like stoked on it. And then he tries to leave, but she grabs him, and now
No.
they have...
Hold on. I'm sorry. I wanted to stop saying hold on, but you mentioned the sardines or whatever that he was going to give her. And sardines? Was it sardines? It was some
I feel
sort of
like
food.
It was sardines.
And
says
he
it's
goes,
food. Oh, yeah.
I know you're hungry, so I have something for you to eat. This is yum yum good. Mwah.
Mwah. Yeah. Chef kissing the fingers.
But Brock, why is he trying to pay her? What is this? I don't understand this scene. What, as you say, what does this mean?
What
What does this mean, Brock?
I cannot explain this for you.
They're in love. So what does he finally
Kind
give her?
of. I mean, yeah, like this is the weirdest version of love that I've ever seen. It was definitely rapey.
And he calls her Miriam. I don't know how
Her
he got
name
her
is Miriam.
Miriam, something like that.
Yeah.
And he put his watch on her wrist, and
Yes.
that's where. So
Oh yeah,
we're flashed
that's
back
the gift
to the
that she
construction
finally
site.
accepts.
Yeah, we're back to the construction site, and he's talking to Mario, and he's like,
Not the construction
Miriam.
site, the camp.
Yeah, the camp. Sorry,
He
he's
literally
Miriam.
spends like 2 seconds at the construction site.
They're all called Miriam around here, but this one was special. As I was putting the watch on her wrist, she kept staring at me. I had this queasy feeling I was putting on a wedding ring.
And he also says, she was very happy. Like, the fuck do you know, Nick?
Because then we cut
She
back
was
to that
very
scene,
happy.
and he's getting ready to leave, and she like grabs him to have sex again.
Yeah, they bone
She
again.
grabs him to have sex.
To which I asked, like,
Brock, this is not how this works.
this is all done in one day, huh? Like,
Brock, this is not how this works.
this dude, this...
No white man has ever traveled to a foreign country
Whoa,
and
we're-
raped
We're throwing out
a native,
weird generalizations
and the native
here.
loved him back.
Okay.
This has never happened. You know the movie Pocahontas? That shit is a lie. Pocahontas was like raped since she was a child, and John Smith faked all that shit. She was never even with John Smith, and then Disney just made it into this like cute, like, oh, look at Pocahontas and John Smith. No, that shit doesn't happen. The more you know.
I learned so much. I'm just over it. I'm Matt Bull, sitting over here in my chair, eating peanuts, man.
All right,
Go on.
so now, one other weird thing. Oh, Brock, dude, I just realized something.
What?
We don't get raw dogging pills, but he takes an egg, pokes a hole in it, raw dogs that egg, baby.
I didn't know whether to count that or not.
I don't think so.
Because she brings him some
But-
eggs. Yeah, and he does like completely just raw bone and
He like,
egg.
puts a hole in it with a screwdriver or something and sucks it down. So now he decides to play Pictionary with her because clearly their verbal communication is not working, and Nick is a terrible drawer. Drawer?
He draws a kind of a
circle?
wavy circle
With waves.
with little like squiggles in it and says, "Lake."
It's terrible. It is a terrible drawing. I don't know if I would have said
then-
lake for that drawing.
He draws a crocodile.
Out of the lake, same lake shape. All he does is add teeth to it, and apparently she knows what that is because she screams, "Ah, Hargus!"
How to guess. And so we're treated to like a couple different like stock footage nature shots. And
Where's
then
Hargus? Roar!
and then-
Where is it?
finally, yeah, there's a Hargus.
She runs, you guys. She runs literally 20 feet.
Yeah, okay.
And there's
I'll
the
give her-
freaking
I'll
lake.
give you 20. I was gonna say 5. She runs like
There's
off
the
screen, basically like the amount of like feet it takes for her to get from like one side of the screen to the other in the
Nick
shot.
could not find this lake that she ran 20 feet and she found it.
And it's a big ass lake.
It's a huge lake. How did he miss this lake?
Nope.
Oh,
So there's a lake. I forget based on the student's instructions like what he was supposed to do once he found the lake. Truly.
well, but it's dawn now, so he's like, "Oh, it's getting dark now, so let's camp out in this cave."
Yep.
And I wrote notes here. I was just like, "Who is this woman? Where is her family? What is she doing?
They're in love.
This doesn't happen."
This is the best meet cute that we've gotten in any Nicolas Cage movie so far.
It is not.
Okay.
Ghost Rider and that girl are
Pretty soon we're gonna have to start ranking.
the meet cutes.
No, I almost don't want to speak this into existence. I was gonna say like we play like Fuck Kill Mary with Nicolas Cage's characters, but now we're gonna have to start ranking like his rape scenes because there's so many of them.
I'm not doing
This
that.
and Zandali. I mean,
I'm not doing that.
you know, there's gonna be a couple more out there.
I will say
I haven't
in
seen
the cave-
Moonstruck. I know it's award winning, but I'm
geez.
just wondering if there's like some weird Nick Cage share action gonna in our future.
I will just say he's laying down in the cave. She comes over. He touches her shoulder and face, and immediately goes to her boobs. He just he really really likes this lady's body.
Yeah, of course he does. I mean, she's different.
What does that mean?
She's
What
different
the
from
fuck
his
is? What
wife.
does that mean?
She's different.
Oh,
and
all this
exotic
shit about
from his
me with the
wife.
Black Panther, and now you're throwing out that shit?
He's racist. I don't think. I mean, are we gonna dance around this issue? He's a white man, a colonial in Africa, who is like subjugating and exerting his power over the natives. So what? Like, is there any more to be said by that? I don't think so.
There's
Okay,
not.
there's
so
a
let's get to the
fucking
bobcat.
hyena.
Or a hyena,
And
whatever.
A hyena growls and he has a pistol, so he shoots at it 3 times. And
This
the third
hyena,
bullet
10 feet
ricochets.
away.
Pew! He's a terrible shot.
It is 10 feet away. One shot should kill this thing.
I don't think he hits anything with his gun.
No,
in
he
this
doesn't. He
entire
hits the
movie.
freaking walls everywhere.
Okay, so it ricochets off the rock, and lo and behold, hits her in the stomach.
And Brock, maybe this is just my.
Because you know when he asked earlier, 5 minutes ago, about what happened and how long somebody could live with the bullet in their stomach? Well,
maybe this is my
wasn't
hearing
him.
instrument. Maybe this is my hearing instrument specialist coming out of me. But all I could think was how loud that must be. 3 shots in a loud ass cave, like, psh, forget about it. He's got hearing damage. He's gonna have to come see me.
I think she has a little more to worry about than her hearing loss.
What about Nick Cage, bro?
Well, I also think he has more things to worry about, like, his ankles after tripping on so many rocks, and apparently his scratchy hand. All right.
Yeah, because he has
So-
that bandage on.
Oh,
and
by the
he-
way, she had a white turban on, which he took off.
But also,
So-
he took his bandage and tried to cover up her wound with it. After she died, he took the bandage back off and put it back on his hand.
Sure.
That has to be explained, dude. Like, the whole
Okay.
second half of this film is all about that.
Hey, I missed it. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Okay.
She
so-
died a little before dawn.
To which Mario asks him to clarify or something, and he yells at Mario and says like, "Yes, God damn it! I told you the whole story. Why can't you listen?"
And when he's describing what he did with the body, this is a very Nick Cagean thing. He gets too detail-oriented. This is, it's the dictionary. It's the red book over there or whatever. He's talking about how he...
Corners.
Yeah, grab the four corners, tie them into a knot. And then he's talking about trying to get the watch off because he wanted his watch back. He's like, so I finally got her hand up where I could get it unbuckled and take it off, and I put it in my pocket. And it's just like, dude, you just say you got the watch. Just say you tied her up. Like, you don't have to say I took the four corners and tied her in a knot.
Put her in like a little crevice, and then went back for my watch. We get to watch it all play out too while he's describing it on screen. Okay. Then he's back at the camp, so that story's over.
He did see a bunch of he heard primitive violins, and he saw more natives kind of coming up dancing.
He saw like a weird procession, or like parade kind of thing. Then he goes back to camp and gets a letter from his wife.
Yep.
Did they like read it? I don't even understand. I don't know. We don't have time to fuck around with that because the construction site was hit by the rebels.
I think the letter
natives.
was just to make sure we knew he was married. After all this shit happened, it was just like, oh, hey, in case you didn't see the wedding ring, here's a letter from his wife.
It doesn't trust us that like we are led to infer.
Exactly.
Based on all the other clues that it's dropped on us.
Exactly.
All right. Well, too bad. Can't fucking focus on that because the construction site has been hit by the rebels. So yeah, they go to the construction site. Everybody's dead, and that's it.
And he's noticing a lot of the people who are also dead are the last tribal people that he saw. Like right after he was leaving Miriam, he's like, oh no, like I recognize that boy. I recognize the violinist. So it was like Miriam's family or whatever.
Miriam's tribe.
Right, and he goes to their camp or whatever, their town, and there's one guy who's burying a dead person. This is Johannes. And I want to tell you, Brock, what I wrote down here. So Nick Cage goes up to him. Who are you? And the guy says, a Christian. Nick Cage, what is your name? The guy, here's what I wrote down because this is what I heard. Your Highness. Problem? For a page and a half, I wrote Your Highness until I realized later that he was saying Johannes.
Well, Your Highness.
Like I thought he was being kind of cocky to Nick Cage.
Like he was like a member of the Jackson family, Your Majesty.
Sure.
Jackson, Your Majesty. All right. Well,
yeah.
Your Highness. What did Your Highness have to say?
That's it. He said, Your Highness, problem? And then, I don't know, Nick Cage, like, I don't remember. Oh, he went back to the cave and like saw a shell and some shit. I don't know.
I don't have like any notes from this, so I apologize. Well,
Nick Cage gets approved for leave.
I got everything up until I got nothing up until he meets with the captain.
So you don't have him dancing with Mario all drunk, kind of like Xandaline?
Yeah, I did have drunk Nick. I mean, drunk Nick like causes a scene. He gets really like loud and
he dances with Mario.
Yeah, they're being real dicks.
And then, the commanding officer comes over, and it's kind of a weird scene
he's
because...
the captain.
Yeah. He's, like, pissed off at them, but then he brings them to his, like, quarters and is just like, oh, guys, why are you drinking that shitty whiskey?
Yeah.
Here's some cigars and French cognac. And then he talks about Furlough being dumb and how it's nice to be away from his wife.
Yeah.
And Nick Cage the whole time was just like, but I love my wife.
Well, he's a playboy, old captain. And this is
what's this guy's name?
Captain. His name is literally just Captain.
I call him CO because he was like commanding officer or something.
Sure. Well, so at one point too, like they walk out and Mario goes to hit on two lovely ladies, and when he walks over to them, he comes back and he's like, "Oh, how could you let me do that?" And the captain starts laughing at him, and it's because they were lepers, and their hands were all like leopard up. And
I didn't really know what leprosy was. I looked it up quick just to... I kind of looked it up to see what the symptoms
yourself.
are. And the hands get like all callousy, I guess.
Basically like rots.
Yeah.
So, okay. And this is where we learn the valuable lesson. Stick no dick in a white turban. Now, this is the captain basically telling Nick and Mario that there's a class system here among the like natives of this country in which like the white turbans mark the people as having leprosy, And so you shouldn't sleep with somebody who has a white turban because they're basically ostracized by their tribes and are like, I don't know, destined to live alone.
Dun, dun, dun.
Or amongst each other, essentially.
Because guess who had that white turban, bro?
Well, yeah, she had like a white hat on. But
Nick Cage thinks it was a white turban.
So, because
Nick
racist
Cage...
and he doesn't know any better. And Nick has his hand all scratched up from, I don't even remember how.
Well, it was just a
Necessarily.
cut that I think from when he fell on the rocks all comically.
Sure.
And he bandaged it up, and he looks at his hand, and it looks like shit, guys.
Yeah.
It's gotten worse.
It's getting real pussy.
And it's leprosy.
Yeah.
And so Nick Cage decides like he's going to kill himself. He's in his tent by himself. He pulls out his gun. Just as he pulls out his gun, though, he sees like a little boy outside his tent.
Yeah.
He met this little boy earlier. It's Elias, and it is Miriam's brother. And he starts yelling at this kid.
Which, I don't understand how he knows everybody is related to Miriam or whether he just assumes it because he's racist.
And how does this kid know English, but Miriam didn't? But anyway, he just starts yelling at him.
Miriam really did, and she was just playing Nick like a fiddle.
I just wanted this one because I remember at one point he was asking her like, was she sick? Was she sick? And he just starts yelling like, you know, yes you do, because she's sick, isn't she? And then he slaps him right across the face. So abuse of children.
Yeah, and little Elias is just like, dog, like,
he's like 10. And he's like 10 years old. All right. Nick Cage meets with the doctor, and he starts telling the doctor, like, I have an idea for a novel.
Cocky docky.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you
I'm
write
writing a
notes
novel about a man who goes to Africa. Okay, so here's the thing. Unless Nick is yelling, everything he says is in the most monotone, like, does not give a shit about being in this movie.
Cool guy.
Thing. I'm writing a novel about a man who goes to Africa and becomes infected with the mysterious disease. I'm like, okay, Nick, don't act any less suspicious, bro. Subtlety, that's your forte.
With a mysterious disease he could catch from sleeping with a woman.
Yes, okay.
Leprosy, maybe? He even like throws out leprosy.
Yeah, according to Nick's novel, his friend, you wouldn't know him. He goes to a different school. He's from Canada. Nick's friend has this disease that he got from sleeping with a woman in Africa.
And the doc basically says, though, like, leprosy takes 10 to 15 years to show up in the body, but there are some rare cases of it showing up rapidly, sometimes in a couple days. And then he pulls out this book about leprosy, and it almost literally...
keeping.
It almost literally has Nick Cage's hand in the book.
It's
like the same cut marks and everything.
Like the exact same scar and wound formation.
Exactly
and
the same.
Yeah.
This is like Looking Glass with that picture frame.
Yep.
This is like the same damn thing.
It's just like, okay, so you couldn't have used anything else. But he like tosses the book at Nick, and Nick catches it with his bandage, and then Nick's just like, oh yeah, I just scratched myself a little bit.
And the doc is going to start reporting him because he goes in this big spiel about how, like, if someone has leprosy, they have to go to a leper town, and they all have to be reported and looked at after every year or something.
The doc might just be going to the phone to, like, call for a ride or something like that. And Nick
we're led to infer that he's calling to report Nick.
We don't know how smart the doc is.
We are led to infer that he is calling about Nick.
Probably. He's going to drop a couple code words.
So, guys, what's your natural reaction if a doctor wants to report you for having a pretty serious disease? What would you do, Brock? What would you do in that situation?
Well, if I had my Panzer pistol in my pants, I would pull that fucker out, line it right up, and blow that cocky doc's head right clean off his shoulders. That is, if I were anybody other than Nick Cage, because he can't shoot for shit.
Well, I think he was trying to miss.
Do you?
Yeah. I don't think he was trying to actually hit. He was trying to scare him.
Bullshit. If he was trying to miss, he would have fucking hit him right between the eyes. We know from multiple movies that Nick is a terrible shot.
So yeah, he shoots at the doctor. He doesn't kill the doctor or anything, but the fact that he shoots at him is absolutely bonkers.
Yeah, he shoots toward his head, and he like hits the wood by his head. I think
All right.
he was trying to hit him, but
Maybe.
anyway. By the time the doc like turns around, Nick is gone.
And he tries to sneak onto a ship, but he gets kicked off. And
Because he doesn't have
then
his
he wakes
paper
up.
stamped.
Yeah, he wakes up on a beach and sees a guy getting executed.
which is like the weirdest. Yeah, it's like the weirdest like scene where it literally just goes from him getting kicked off the ship to like waking up hair all askew outside, and yeah, and then he just is like peeking around some barbed wire, watching a dude get a firing squad, which I'm assuming is because he was a deserter and then he got caught, and
Yeah,
that's
something
again
like that.
what we're led to infer, but. Okay, like we can jump to our own conclusions. Thanks for not holding her hand, but I just don't even understand why we need to necessarily watch this. We get that. The stakes are
that
high.
scene was weird. This movie was long too.
It
This is like a
doesn't
120-minute
explain,
long
anything.
movie.
140, or
Yeah.
an hour 40. Excuse me.
An hour 40, so about 100 minutes, 110 minutes, something like that. Nick Cage goes to a restaurant and asks them to stow away him.
Yeah.
But they're like, we want $30,000.
30,000, whatever the currency is.
Yeah, and he doesn't have that. He's like, I can give it to you when I get back to Italy. And by the way, everybody has an
That's not
accent
how
in this
shit
movie.
works.
Everybody has an accent in this movie except Nick Cage, by the way.
Yeah,
He's supposed to
Everybody
be from Italy.
Has an Italian accent or
African.
wherever they are, whatever
In
country
Africa,
they're in.
yeah.
That. Oh, it was fuck. Shit. Keep going. I'll think about it.
I said the town earlier.
Was it Zimbabwe?
Aberdees
No.
or something? Aberdees? Aberdees nuts!
Oh,
All right,
no.
Nick's captain.
Ethiopia.
Or,
They're in Ethiopia.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Nick's captain or CO finds Nick Cage, and they get lunch together. And while they're getting lunch, Nick sees the CO get paid for something.
Just like a shady business deal. He's skimming off the top.
Right. They start driving. Wait. Oh,
Yeah.
so his CO takes him to a brothel, and at what, like, I don't know how the scene went down, but like the captain is loving
yeah.
it. He's like banging his girl, and he's like, Nick, why aren't you banging your girl? And Nick goes, there's too many flies.
Yeah.
When really he has leprosy, so he's worried about like that.
Probably.
Or his wife,
just not in the
or
mood.
Muriel.
He's just not
Yeah.
in. I mean, maybe he couldn't get it up. Who knows? Anyway, yeah. So then he hitches
Did
a
you
ride.
write down this line? Did you write down this next line?
No.
So they start driving off, and they see bandits in the distance. So the CO stops, and he says, I'm practically shitting my pants. Not because I'm scared of all those bandits. It's just that I'm as regular as a clock. What do you want to bet? It's exactly 1530 right now.
And
So-
then he goes out to squat by
And he
his
shits.
tree, and he asks Nick to check the time for him. So Nick reaches into his bag and steals all his money, and then
The CO guy was kind of funny.
like packs up his bag. Yeah, Captain was good. And like I said, his actor is like he's like an old Italian dude from the most recent James Bond films and like a couple other like spy thrillers. And yeah, and then he goes walking off, but the CEO comes and he's like, "Hey, what the hell, man?" And Nick's like,
Did you say that Nick stole the money?
Yeah, Nick stole the money,
Yeah, okay.
and then he goes walking off, and the captain's like, "What the hell?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go walk back. Fuck this or whatever." And screw this, excuse me. And so Nick gets a ways off, and then the captain cuts him off with the truck, and says, "You stole all my money. What the hell, man?
I'm going to
not gonna
report
let
you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna let you get away with this."
And I'm going to
Which
report you.
Nick pulls
Did
his
you write
gun.
down Nick's line? Yeah.
And
He pulls his gun and goes, No, you won't! You won't report me because I charge you with stealing from the fucking army!
From the fucking army! Yeah.
Now get the fuck out of here!
And so...
Oh no, wait, he repeats right here because he says, and he shoots
Yeah.
in the air and goes,
Yeah.
Now get out of here! Get out of here! I
And
get some repeating.
the major goes to grab his gun, but Nick says, nah. I took all the bullets out, and he throws them, like, off to the side. So he says, like, again, you can't report me because I'll report you. And so, well, Major doesn't have any other course of action but to yell, "Fuck you!" And then goes running, like, drives off, basically.
And Nick Cage starts walking again. And again, comically falls on some rocks.
And
Dude, watch where you're walking, man.
and chases a donkey.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah. And
Brock,
chases a
apparently-
donkey into a village.
I still did not learn Johannes's name because I put Nick gets back to a village with Your Highness.
Your Highness. I actually just wrote his name for the first time.
And Nick
there's
Cage starts
Johannes.
berating him. He starts berating him, like beats him with a stick and is saying something like, "Take my money" or whatever, and like, "Don't tell anyone I'm here," and just like starts beating him up for no reason.
And he says, "I'm sick to the soul! Don't you
So Your
understand
Highness-
how I'm sick?"
Your Highness, despite just getting beat up with a stick, like Nick was hitting him with a stick, still is caring for Nick Cage. He brings him water. He puts like a white substance in it, which I didn't know what that was. Was that sugar, salt, cocaine?
I think it was cocaine.
See, I'm thinking so too.
Yeah.
Is that drugs?
It's him doing drugs. It had to be
It's
some
either
sort of
sugar,
drug.
salt,
It was
or
not
cocaine.
sugar, dude. With the way that Nick wanted it so bad, it was not sugar.
Okay.
I mean, I like sugar, but like, you drop a pixie stick in some water, I'm not gonna be like jonesing for it.
Nick Cage also rolls a joint right after this, and when he goes to light the
But
joint,
I think the joint had some of the fucking cocaine in it.
maybe. But when he goes to light this joint, he puts his head on this like candle flame, which is like 6 inches high and practically burns off his eyebrows.
Yeah, he's Nick. He's
There
sick.
could have been a better way.
Don't you understand how I'm sick? He's sick to the soul. All right. So then he yells about how sick he is, and Johannes drops this little dime on us. Hey, guess what? Miriam was not sick.
Yeah.
So Nick spills the beans
And-
about how she died.
And immediately after this scene, Nick's hand is perfectly clear. So this whole movie, it keeps getting blacker and like redder, and you're just like, holy shit, like it's spreading up his arm, because that's what leprosy does. Almost immediately after this, takes the bandage off and it's perfect.
Yeah, that's
Well, it's not perfect, but like it's a little scar now.
That is the power of cocaine.
let that be. That should have been what we learned right at the top. God bless it. We really dropped the ball. We could have like led people into that lesson. But
yeah,
that'll be our end lesson, people. That's
Yeah,
the
sure.
healing power of cocaine.
But Nick does tell Your Highness about how he had to shoot Muriel in the head, Miriam, whatever her name was, and they actually
Yep.
takes Your Highness
Spills
to
the
the
beans.
gravesite. What's that? Yeah,
He spills
spills
the
the beans.
To which
Um,
Johannes actually takes a stick and is about to like beat Nick, but then it like fades in and fades out of like him like raising the stick, getting mad, but then like being like, "But I can't hit you because I'm a Christian." And then he's like planting the stick onto like a lean-to by her gravesite,
Right.
and they build together. Nick heals with them. It doesn't really give you a good sense of how long it takes, but I know that the next ship was leaving in 5 days. So
And Nick is on it.
I guess they hung out for 5 days because Nick goes to the ship. He meets back up with Mario, and Mario's like a cool dude. Mario's just like a poet. He's very like philosophical. He has a good way of looking about the world.
Yeah, Mario was fine. And he reveals, though, that the CO died from the rebels because his gun was not loaded.
Yeah, he got surrounded by all the
So-
rebels, and
Is that
couldn't
why?
even fight them off?
Is that why Mario wishes that he would have stopped Nick Cage earlier in the movie, or is it because of the rape?
There was just so much many shenanigans that he could have prevented by fucking punching Nick in the face and knocking his tooth out right then and there, I guess. I don't know.
I suppose, because the rape wouldn't have happened. Then he wouldn't have thought he had leprosy. Then he wouldn't have been freaking out. Yeah, I guess. All right, it was all big one. Is the butterfly effect.
That chameleon would have never got hooked on the pot.
Would have never got addicted to drugs.
Yeah. I mean,
All right, Brock.
That's the real tragedy is that poor chameleon and how his life was just ruined as a result of this film. You guys, that's the movie.
Yeah, we talked about it long. I can see why I had 6 pages of notes now. It's actually 6, not 4.
I can't.
Yeesh.
I had barely a page. Let's
get to our tropes.
Our tropes, everybody. All right. He did not raw dog any pills, but
I have drugs.
he did some drugs.
Raw dog / drugs. Like, because raw dogging is so specific, so it's raw dog / drugs. It's just like, it's a bigger happy dance when it's raw dogging rather than just drugs.
Exactly. We got a fuck, and specifically a fuck you, aimed at him from the Major.
Oh, so the Major said it. That's why I didn't have it written down.
Yeah.
We have taco meat. I don't know if that's
absolutely.
lower on
We
your
have
list,
taco
but yeah,
meat.
taco meat's on there.
Flashbacks. This
Yep, the
movie
whole
was
third.
built on a flashback. We built this movie. He
Repeating.
mumbles incoherently.
Does he?
Yeah.
When does he mumble?
When he's like sick and running around the village. I don't know.
Well, that's because it was in Italian for those 5 seconds.
yeah, there was. Oh, we forgot that. We buried that lead. So at one point when he's talking to Ioannis, like our version of the movie was in English the entire time, but then it like cuts to this weird like 10-second clip of like him speaking in Italian. So we don't know what he said. That's a mumble.
This is when he's beating up Your Highness that second time.
Yeah.
And I actually went and I looked up a version that was in Italian that had subtitles, and basically he was just yelling like "respond to me" or whatever, "take my money." So
Yeah.
I'm staying here, and you won't tell anyone about it. I'm talking to you!
Sei sordo? Rispondimi! Rispondimi! Tu hai capito cosa ti ho detto? Rispondi, vecchio scemo! Rispondi, prendi quei maledetti soldi e obbediscimi! Avanti!
Are you deaf?
he was yelling and repeating.
I didn't care. I didn't bother to look it up.
He had maniacal laughing. He had abuse of women and children.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
I don't believe he ever one punched or high fucking yawed anybody.
No.
He didn't call
don't have to
anybody
go-
of the opposite sex or emasculate. Didn't imitate, deface, or hand wiggle.
Didn't die.
He didn't hand wiggle, but his hand was wiggling,
Yeah.
and he did not die, despite
I guess-
all of our best efforts.
I guess I wrote down 2 Pete Cages just in case you took the best one.
I always write a couple.
So what's your Pete Cage?
I mean, my cagiest moment is, I'm sick to the soul! Don't you understand how I'm sick?
No, I want to stay with you. I want to stay where you stay. You don't ever leave me again, Johannes! I'm sick to the soul! Because Marion had... Don't you understand how I'm sick?
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine is the one where he's trying to give Miriam the food, and he's like, I know you're hungry, so I have something for you to eat. This is Yum Yum. Good. Mwah.
I know you're hungry, so I have something for you to eat. This is yum, good. Mwah!
Kisses, in my notes, I put kisses fingers like a chef.
Chef kiss, baby.
All right, Brock. Was he a good actor?
Oh my god, no.
He was actually really bad in this movie. He overacted a
was
lot.
bad.
He delivered his lines really badly a lot. This was actually, I feel like, I don't know how this is rated a 5.3 on
I don't
IMDb.
either. Is it like just the prestige of Italy? Like, is it because it's Italian? I don't know.
What are you giving it on
a
IMDb?
A 2?
Yeah, I didn't think it was a 2.
It didn't piss me off
Like, I
as
didn't-
much as
Yeah.
Dog Eat Dog, obviously, but it was, I think, probably the most boring movie that we've watched so far.
When I looked at my list of like what I had marked at a 1 or a 2, I like this one better than it, so I'm giving it a 3.
You can have more than 1 2.
No, I didn't think it was as bad as what I rated 2s.
What did you rate
So-
it 2?
Arsenal. Actually, that's my only 2 so far.
I think that this was worse than Arsenal. I think
whatever.
I think when what did we do with our rankings? Like, I would probably put this in as like the worst movie. I mean, I think it was more
Dog Eat
boring
Dog is
than-
first.
the worst movie other than Dog Eat Dog. I think I would put it underneath the Humanity Bureau and Dying of the Light, under Firebirds. Like, it was. So his early movies, Firebirds, and this one now, like, his acting is so bad. It's so stilted. It's so monotone. It's the worst. So
You know, you keep convincing me of things. I think I am going to give it a 2.
yeah,
Like, the more I think about it, I think it was not good enough for a 3. I'm giving it a 2.
No, there were no
guys.
highlights of this either. Usually we can find like
this
a
was
highlight.
very, 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 very boring.
No.
We are now at 1 out of 18. We each gave him 1 thumbs up out of 18. In case you're curious.
Okay. Keep going.
What?
I'm gonna quantify that, but keep going.
Well, I was going to quantify it too. So our original thing was like, okay, Rotten Tomatoes score. He needs 60% good acting to be fresh or whatever, to be a good actor. We have 71 movies on our list right now. He can be bad in 28 of them. So he's already at 17 bad movies. But we are starting at the bottom up, so there's still a chance he could still turn it around and get that 60% fresh. That's all I was going to say.
There's a chance.
There's a chance.
Not a good one.
Dude, these
Not
5s are
looking
rough.
good.
I actually think these 5s are worse than the first 10 movies that we watched.
Okay. I'm going to say something. Because I know we talked it to death in the last podcast, and we went back and forth, and ultimately we made our decisions. And I know that I convinced you for G-Force, like, you know, we got what we wanted out of him. I'm going to put a little tag onto the end of that. Yes, he was a fine voice actor in G-Force. I don't know if it counts. I don't
Why?
think it necessarily counts as being a good actor because
Why not?
it wasn't like a full body live action performance.
So, Brock, you tell me, when you watch Aladdin, you would like it just as much if Robin Williams wasn't the genie? Robin Williams makes that movie.
But do I
Nick
consider
Cage-
Robin Williams a good actor based on
Yeah.
the genie?
Abso-freaking-lutely you do.
I don't think I can just look at Aladdin, because
Brock, think about a really shitty animated movie that you've watched.
okay, do you know the voice acting of anybody else in the movie Aladdin?
No,
I actually
because
do.
they're boring.
I know the guy who voiced Aladdin. I know him.
Yeah, I know of him,
Personally.
but... Oh, you know him personally?
I've met him before. Anyway, yeah, he's.
I wish you would have met the genie.
I know, right? R.I.P. too soon.
All I'm saying is when you get a really boring... Like, look at Sam Rockwell in G-Force. He
Yeah.
was so freaking boring. He did not care.
Yeah.
You got to be able to put emotion into it. And Nick Cage brought a character
Yeah.
to life.
I guess I just don't know if it necessarily fully
Brock,
counts.
This
as,
is where
like,
I
being
struggled
a
last
good
week,
actor.
and you and Amanda convinced
I know.
me otherwise. Because
I
like
know.
it is, you're right. That's a tough one to give him his first thumbs up on because it is animated.
And he's just voicing it.
Brock.
I
But he
just don't
didn't-
know if it fully. I'm not ready to fully. I don't want to give him a full thumbs up. I'm gonna give him like a half cocked thumb.
So again, going back to Rotten Tomatoes, when they are determining whether a review is fresh or not, I think I brought this up before. If someone gives it like a 2.5 out of 4, that is 60%. So they will actually look at the full review and determine, well, is it more positive or more negative? And that'll determine whether it's fresh or rotten. So we're kind of at that right on the cusp. And it's like, we have to figure out is it enough to go fresh or is it enough to go rotten? And I think after you think about it, like I said, you and Amanda kind of convinced me. It's a kid's movie. He was playing a weird character, and he brought some life to it.
You know, but it's like being to use totally not PC cliche. It's being the smartest kid in the dumb class. It's being the, it's being the
What
best
did you
of the
want?
worst.
So if Nick Cage would have read that line normally, Do you think that would have been a better performance? If he would have read it just with his normal voice, kind of some weird inflections maybe every now and then like he had, would that have been a better performance than what he actually put on? No. I think the voice that he created actually made the character come to life a little more because it is a star-nosed mole. He's got a weird nose. He's going to sound different.
Man,
I think he did good.
it's like being the tallest little person, or like
Shut the fuck up.
being the runt.
You're stuck with it. You're stuck with that one thumbs up.
I will gladly accept it. I just do not know.
It's
if
like
it
got an
fully counts.
asterisk.
I still don't. Yeah. It's got an asterisk. Exactly. It has an asterisk next to it.
It's just like, we know Mark McGwire hit the most home runs in a season, but
But he was juicing.
there's an asterisk by it.
Yeah.
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 All right.
All right. Do you want to tell people what is going on? We're saying the same things. Do you want to tell people about us?
I can. So, everybody, if I remember, you can find us on Instagram at WeGaugeCage. And if you like
Nope.
that, yes, because
Oh,
we
yeah.
are on
Oh, wait,
Twitter
it is. You're right.
at
Yeah.
WeGaugeCage Pod.
Yes.
We're also up on the
Why did we do
YouTubes.
that? Why did we do that?
We're on the YouTubes if you prefer to listen/watch a blank screen with our logo on YouTube at We Gauge Cage Pod. There's a We Gauge Cage Podcast, my main man.
I do try to tag it with both of them.
Okay.
We Gauge Cage Pod, We Gauge Cage Podcast. Hopefully you can find it. I don't know why, but I have a hard time finding it sometimes. Other times it pops right up.
Yeah, and then if you want to be my lover, you got to get with my friends. You make it last forever. Friendship never ends. I think that about does it.
Our next film
Yeah.
is Pay the Ghost,
Pay
a
the
Castle
Ghost.
Period. We're getting back into it. We took a little break.
Oh.
Little break, see, but the Castle Period's calling. They got
AKA
a
Back to
What is that?
Rage.
what is it called when you can like rent a Hawaiian place for a week? What is that called again? Or not rent it, but like you own it,
Timeshare?
and they get you to go on like a free ski trip because of it.
Timeshare.
Timeshare. It's like a timeshare. We were away from the Castle Period a little bit, but hey, it's our time to come back.
We're timesharing the castle.
Yep.
Boy.
It is a 5.2 on IMDb. I don't know. I thought I looked up what this movie was about.
It is the exact same plot line as Rage, if I remember correctly. One of his kids gets kidnapped, and he has to take revenge.
Let me look. Let me verify this
I
real quick.
honestly don't think that you're going to get much different than that.
The theatrical poster looks identical to every other Castle Period film.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Searches for his son who was abducted during a Halloween parade. Cool.
During
So
a Halloween parade, I love Halloween.
We haven't seen this movie
God,
before.
I hope it's
have
like
we?
Hocus Pocus, but with Moida.
What the heck, man? This has a 10% on Rotten Tomatoes
Holy
with
shit.
a user rating of 3.6. What is up with IMDb? You get the fanboys on there just rating Nick Cage 10s like
The
crazy.
Nick Cage lovers.
Yeah, I wonder what percentage of his reviews are 10s on IMDb. I don't know. Now I'm having a hard time with it.
Here's one that says enjoyable ghost film.
Oh.
Is this a ghost film? Shit, yeah.
All right.
Because a bunch of people are giving this 6. 6, 5, 4. Nicholas is trying. He's a great
He's
actor.
trying,
I can't wait
guys.
for him to get back to the old Nick.
All right.
Nicholas is trying.
Guys, he's trying.
real hard.
Give him a break. He's trying. All right. Should we go?
I
Should I go
hope so.
say goodnight to my dogs?
Yeah.
My little fur babies.
can I go eat some dinner?
Little miniature and little rangy.
Finn
And I'm gonna
Rider.
go give him little treats because he's pooping outside.
Good luck
he
with-
poops right on the steps, man.
Good luck with your
Like,
puppy balls.
When Ranger
guys.
didn't like Finn,
This is not necessary.
when Ranger didn't like Finn hasn't learned to like pee in the yard yet. So he peed on the steps, and Ranger would not like go by the steps. So in order to get back inside, he would jump over the steps and over the pee. Come on, man. It was a good story. We're dog friendly, I
We
thought.
can talk about his pup,
What? You're just upset because you don't have
his
dogs?
poops and his peeps, and
All right.
how
Just
he
say the
took
old.
all those steps.
Just say the old.
Good luck with your boss.
Good luck with your balls.